He rides in a large, monster-wheeled truck along Interstate 40 near Nashville. He prefers the quiet, rural roads, uncluttered with cars and travelers. On the radio, he listens to Bluegrass. He enjoys songs with mandolins. The roads hum to him. They do the singing. His Confederate flags flap in the stinging slipstream. Trump bumper sticker in the back window. He loves the roads, especially at night. Sometimes an animal steps onto the hot, southern pavement, its eyes glowing iridescent yellow in the truck's high beams. The animal freezes. He targets the eyes like an eagle. Using the truck as a gun, he swoops down to splatter the animal across the road. Sometimes he turns around and goes back to the spot. He likes to see the pavement turn red. The bluegrass plays and the highway sings. He drives and drives. In the distance, he sees a pair of hazard lights flashing and wonders if it is a person changing their tire. The hazards are tilted, one flashing slightly higher than its partner, as if the car was up on a jack. His high beams hit the reflectors of the disabled car ahead, and in his headlights a man kneels facing the road, working feverishly on the rear tire. The man shows no signs of getting up. He accelerates, pushing the gas pedal to the floor. In the car ahead, two children look out the rear window. They see the monster-wheeled truck, but their father discounts them with a wave of his hand. Screaming, they pound the back glass, and the truck howls like a charging bull. The truck slams into the car without mercy, gouging the paint with teeth and bone. The children scream as their father's blood splatters across the steaming asphalt. The momentum of the accident slings his body across the middle of the road. He's filled with thrilling emotions. He brings the monster-wheeled truck to a screaming, rubber-burning halt and makes a U-turn on the deserted highway as heat lightning reaches like fingers in the distant sky and the highway sings in low baritone. He returns to the car, which still sits on the jack. The hazards slice into the humid night. A night bird calls, singing harmony with the highway. The truck slows before a lump of clothing, strewn about 15 feet from the disabled car. The high beams reflect off the clothing, beige with shocks of fresh red. He steps down from the monster-wheeled truck, proceeds to the fallen man, and kneels. The man's body was horribly ripped by the chrome bumpers of the monster-wheeled truck. The truck had struck him in the shoulders, hooking and dragging him 15 feet or more. The pavement acts like sandpaper against naked skin. From a pocket in his blue work shirt, he pulls out a pair of latex gloves. With digits thinly wrapped in clear rubber, he fingers through the corpse's wallet, carefully removing the driver's license. The pavement is red, and the high beams. He likes that. As he walks back to the truck, he remembers the children. Back in the truck, the bluegrass plays, and soon the highway sings again. He turns the enormous truck around, aiming at the car on the jack. A chorus joins the bluegrass as he throttles the beast. The truck bolts forward, and he zeroes in on the driver's side door. The car is nothing but a mouse in the bull's path. The truck rams the car, sending it teetering on the edge of a deep, vertical ditch. It hesitates for a moment, long enough for the children to scream. Then, the car tumbles over the ditch's edge. The top instantly collapses under the weight of the vehicle. He turns the truck from the carnage and listens to the hum of his lonely songstress. He is alone in his small, narrow mobile home with the Trump sign still in the yard, years later. Time has worn and faded them. A puppy plays at his feet. He likes the dog. To some, it could be called love. He almost never hurts the puppy. He calls him Jesse. Jesse looks like a fireman's dog and has black and white spots and funny floppy ears. Sometimes, Jesse misbehaves and he punishes the dog with a coat hanger. He remembers when he first found Jesse. He was working on the telephone lines near the Fort Deer River Bridge. A car came speeding over the hill, and as it passed, the driver pitched a cloth laundry bag over the concrete railing. He watched the sack plummet into the muddy river. He saw the bag squirm before sinking. He scrambled to the shore, and with a long stick, snagged the sack before it disappeared entirely. He pulled it ashore. Upon opening it, he found 5 puppies. All were dead except for one, and it was quickly fading. He rescued the pup and buried the others. He watches television and waits for the morning paper. It is almost time to sleep. Soon, he sees what he's waiting for. The reporter is with a camera crew at the site of last night's hit and run. The newsman reports that police suspect the dead man is another victim of the interstate killer, the 5th discovered along local highways in the past 2 weeks. Police say they have evidence linking all 5 killings. They say 2 children were crushed to death in the accident. That would make 8, he thinks. He looks at the driver's license before putting it in a shoebox. He had a mission. The Republicans have made it okay to purge enemies of America. He could be himself. He keeps trophies, the identity of the victims, in case he needs proof of his patriotism. Suddenly, he hears the newspaper slam into the side of the trailer. He places the shoebox inside an exposed heating vent, secures the cover, and goes to the door. "Come on, Jesse," he says. "Time to go potty." As he opens the metal storm door into the bright light, the screen squeaks. Jesse scoots past his legs and starts to sniff around the lilac bushes up near the trailer. He looks across to the next lot over, down the length of the neighbor's double wide to the grassy patch in the back. Clothes hang on the line to dry, and wasps flirt with blooming vines. A boy, maybe 5 or 6, plays with Jesse, who has crossed into the neighbor's lot. He kneels by the puppy who is licking him feverishly. They both fall over in the yard, having fun. His attention turns to the young woman coming around the corner of the trailer. The first thing he notices is the bruise on her forearm. "Hi," she says. "I'm sorry if my son got in your way." Her southern accent is very rich, thicker than his own. "He didn't do anything wrong. It's all right." She introduces herself, but he doesn't pay attention to her name. Instead, he notices the wicker basket full of white linen. "I love the smell of sheets dried on the line," he says. "Me too. I hate the smell of a dryer." He looks at the bruise on her arm, then at her son playing with Jesse. His eyes wander to the clothes in the basket. Then, he looks at the wasps flirting with the blooming vines. Their wings sound like the highway when it sings. Suddenly, the woman's husband yells out the window. He yells to come take care of the baby. Fearfully, she hides her arm with the clothes basket. "I'd better go get that baby," she says. He calls Jesse and walks over to his own trailer. Just as he is going inside, her husband yells again, accompanied by the sound of something crashing, maybe pots and pans. He closes the door. He unfolds the morning paper and scans the headlines. He smiles as he reads the first paragraph. He's made the paper again. He is used to sleeping during the day, usually working the night shift. Even though the trailer park is full of kids, he's learned to ignore all of it except the next-door neighbors. They are new to the trailer park. As he awakens, he sees the evening sun through the blinds. He dreamed about her baby, though he'd never laid eyes on the child. He crawls from the bed. He has been on vacation for 2 weeks, and it's almost time to return to work. He thinks about the new people in the lot next door. They have been there about 2 weeks as well. They bought the trailer and moved in just as his vacation started, just as everything started. By the window facing the neighbor's lot, he sits at the kitchen table drinking coffee. Even though the air conditioner is on, the window is cranked open and he hears them across the lawn. Jesse scratches to go out. Angrily, he gets up to let the dog outside. Scratching on the door is the only bad thing Jesse does, but a whipping will fix that. He vows to spank Jesse later. He opens the trailer door for the dog and catches parts of their argument. Her husband curses her for the baby, then gets in his car and leaves. She cries like Bluegrass. Her husband's voice sounds so much like his father's. The anger swells in him, helpless to memory. His eyes wash red like the highway. Before he realizes it, he is in a monster-wheeled truck. The Bluegrass music plays and the highway sings. Night has fallen, and Bugs commits suicide on his high beams. Tonight, he picks a different highway. Tonight, he travels far from I-40 near Jackson, to Highway 412 that goes to Dyersburg. He remembers things about his neighbors. She has yellow hair, not blonde. Her husband yells so much it makes his head burn. She has blue eyes, but they are also usually pink and swollen from crying. Her husband's knuckles are bruised and discolored from hitting her. When he does get a glimpse of the bastard, he can't recall her name, but does remember that she hangs clothes on the line. Highway 412 is deserted. Everyone thinks he will be cruising I-40. That is where everything else has taken place. I-40 is a long stretch of blacktop, and there's not enough cops to patrol it. The state's financial problems have led to police layoffs. He drives for hours until he feels it is safe to hunt. Along the road, he sees something moving. It could be a deer, but he notices as he gets closer it is a human. He can't see if it is a woman or man. He accelerates, and his high beams catch the form. With an outstretched thumb, the form turns, and he sees it is a woman. The high beams mesmerize her like a deer. She freezes in the light. He accelerates until the tires wail like craven hags. Like a bullet, the monster-wheeled truck slams into her mercilessly. Her head crashes into the truck's hood, and the metal buckles from the impact. She falls away while the truck drives past. It is many moments before he consciously slows down. He U-turns and searches for the fallen woman on the highway. It is oppressively hot, and the bugs fly in curtains. The woman is strewn across the pavement. He stops and slips from behind the wheel. His linesman's boots walk toward her. She is lying on the hot black top. Her yellow hair is splattered, stained red. He takes the latex gloves from his pocket, puts them on, and kneels beside her. Her large backpack has been ripped open by the hard surface. He pulls at her shoulder in an attempt to turn her over. Suddenly, she extends a hand to him, her voice too weak to make an audible plea. She is able to turn herself over, and she stares at him. He looks down at her face. Part of it is missing, the bones exposed and shattered, and blood soaking the pavement. She must have been dragged over the blacktop, and the backpack must have prevented her death. He leaps away from her outstretched hand and runs back to the monster-wheeled truck. He didn't expect her to be alive. The Bluegrass is playing. He throws the truck in a low gear and creeps up on the fallen hitchhiker. He knows she is trying to crawl away. He can see parts of the purple canvas backpack littering the highway from the impact point to where she now crawls. He envisions her head crushing like an overripe pumpkin as he thrusts the monster-wheeled truck into a chorus of death angels. The tires squeal and burn as they grip the pavement. He drives and doesn't look back. His sleep is restless. He can't get the hitchhiker out of his mind. Did she see him? And is she still alive? He was almost certain he crushed her to death. He's frustrated because she still has her identification. He was unable to take it. He looks at the digital clock, then at the afternoon sun as it turns soft and orange. He hears a crackling noise like a CB radio. He gets out of bed and peeps through the blinds, and outside sees a parked police car. Their radio crackles. He calls Jesse to the door. Jesse doesn't have to potty, but he makes the dog go into the yard anyway, so he has an excuse to be outside. As he opens the door, he realizes the cops are in the neighbor's lot. His neighbor holds her baby while her little boy stands at her side. Her husband is against the cruiser, hands in cuffs. One officer is talking to him. However, they are not reading him his rights. He watches as they remove the cuffs. He notices the wife has a large red mark across her face. They ask her if she wants to press charges. She hangs her head and shakes it from side to side. That would only make it worse. He doesn't notice the little boy has pulled away from her and come into his yard. He plays with Jesse by the monster-wheeled truck. The little boy and the dog run around the vehicle in dizzying circles. He notices a large dent in the front fender of the truck and a piece of the purple backpack wedged in the front bumper. He walks to the boy and smiles. "Do you like my puppy? I love him. My daddy won't let me have one. The boy leans close to Jesse, who licks his face. He walks over to the dent in the truck and swiftly works the piece of cloth from the bumper. Hi. He is startled as he hears her voice from behind. He turns to look at the little boy's mother. I'm sorry about my little boy coming over and bothering you. He looks at her face and realizes her shame as she looks down. He knows she can't hide the red mark, and that makes it worse. Don't worry about it. He's a good boy. You are a good mom. He smiles. They both look at the police who are getting in their car. This is the hardest part. When the cops leave, she says. He looks at her. She hasn't noticed the dent in the truck. He looks down at the boy and comments how much he was like him at that age. Suddenly, she cringes at the sound of her husband calling her. He has only seen that degree of fear on one other person, his own mother. Mama feared Daddy, just like she fears her husband. He looks at her sympathetically. You know, he says, suddenly remembering her name, it will all be over someday, Alicia. Without a goodbye, she grabs the boy and heads home. He waits for the newscast. The morning newspaper didn't mention the girl at all. Perhaps no one found her yet. Or maybe she's still alive, in the hospital, in protective custody. In a live minicam report, he watches as the newsman comes onto the screen. The reporter says just over an hour ago, a motorist discovered the body of a young woman from Dyersburg, killed on Highway 412, another victim of the interstate killer, they surmise. He smiles. She died. But he doesn't have proof of his patriotism. He hears yelling coming from the neighbor's trailer and turns off the television. He calls Jesse and goes to the trailer door. As he opens it, Jesse flops outside. He walks out on the small porch and looks across the lawn. He hears her shouting back and the sound of crashing dishes. Then there is silence. He watches intently as she rushes out of the trailer with her baby, the little boy clinging to her torn dress. She makes it into the yard, but her husband follows her out. Her husband is drunk. His words slur, and he tries to grab the little baby, cursing the child with every inebriated breath. The Bluegrass plays on the tinny, static AM radio, and the highway sings as he sits in the back seat, so small against the maroon leather seats of the enormous 1966 Buick Electra. It smells like whiskey. Every time his daddy hits a bump, he flies around uncontrollably in the gullet of the bench back seat. Mama sits in the passenger seat, chain smoking with one hand while clinging to a baby wrapped in a blanket with the other. Mama cries and talks to the child in her arms. Daddy is angry. He swerves into the other lane, but corrects his path before another car comes along. Daddy is angry and blames Mama for the baby. He slaps her with his right hand as he drives along the dark, deserted highway. Daddy is so strong and big from working construction. From the back seat, he cries too, and is answered by his daddy's hand. Daddy has a large nugget ring on his finger that leaves a mark every time he strikes him. The night is so hot, heat lightning scrawls in the sky. He leans up over the passenger seat to look at the baby. Daddy calls the baby a freak, a curse. He likes to look at his little brother, the freak with no arms. That isn't the only thing freaky about the baby, he thinks. His baby brother's face is disfigured, too. Mama cries as she throws the spent cigarette out her open window. Mama cries, begging. Daddy accelerates along the deserted highway, his window rolled down. The wind sounds like a jet engine. Lightning licks the night sky, creating radio static and harmony. Mama cries more and screams as Daddy wrenches the baby away from her. Mama tries to pull the baby back, but he punches her hard in the mouth to silence her. Mama cringes as the highway sings. He helplessly watches Daddy hold Mama back. They are speeding down the blacktop towards the Forked Deer River Bridge. She knows to be quiet, or it will get so much worse. Mama is helpless as Daddy dangles the baby wrapped in the blanket out the window and gives it a strong hurl over the concrete and into the black, muddy water below. All is silent except for the jet engine of the wind and the sound of Bluegrass on the radio. He watches from the trailer porch as she and her children start walking. Her husband dangles the car keys and laughs. She begins walking toward the trailer park entrance on the highway. He calls Jesse back inside and shuts the door. He looks out the window and watches the blood-red sun sinking over the highway. He turns off the television and turns on the radio. It was his daddy's old radio, and Bluegrass plays on the AM station. He hears the neighbor's door again. He peers through the window and sees her husband stumble drunkenly into their car. He remembers, as her husband peels out of the driveway, the music echoes in the trailer. Picking up his keys, he goes out to the monster-wheeled truck. He climbs behind the wheel, and the monster roars to life. Twilight paints the sky. He drives off in the direction of the car. You can see the lights swerving across both lanes of empty highway. The Bluegrass plays and the highway sings. He accelerates and turns on his lights. He catches up to the car and follows until there are no houses, traffic, or witnesses. He flashes his high beams until the car's brake lights illuminate, and he pulls over on the shoulder. He stops behind the car and waits with his brights on. After several minutes, her husband gets out and walks toward the truck with a baseball bat in his hand. He swears, swinging the bat threateningly. The man gets within 5 feet of the raging truck. He slowly depresses the accelerator until the engine howls with power. The front end begins to vibrate, and the man stops, takes the bat, winds up, and prepares to smash the headlights. "Come on, asshole," her husband yells. "Get out of the damn truck." He stomps the brake to the floor, slams the truck into drive, lets up on the brake, and unleashes the pent-up energy of the beast. Propelled by the engine, the truck pops violently forward and smashes into the man, sending the bat flying across the highway. The truck burns rubber as it wastes him, grinding him into the pavement. He is barely able to control the truck, but brings it to a stop. He U-turns and looks at the lifeless form on the broken blacktop. He cautiously glides to a stop near his victim, gets out of the truck, and walks toward the pulp spread across the highway. He's amazed at how much mess the victim made. He pulls out the latex gloves and fishes for the wallet from the man's bloody pants. This time, he takes the money along with the license. He returns to the truck, then drives off in search of his neighbor and her children. He drives for nearly an hour, just listening to the radio and thinking of her, thinking of a lot of things. He remembers the sweet white linen dried in the sun, her soft accent, her name. Finally, in the distance, he sees her walking on the shoulder of the road. Her oldest boy clings to her. He was like that little boy once. On the radio, a bluegrass song with mandolins plays, and the highway starts to sing. He catches up to them and opens the passenger door. "It's dangerous out here. You shouldn't be walking alone." She smiles. "I don't know about that. It's pretty dangerous back there. I can't let anything happen to my kids. Get in. I'll take care of you. I know a place that's safe." Reluctantly, she tells the boy to climb in. "What about my husband?" He looks at her. "What about him?" She closes the door, and quietly they drive back to his trailer. She looks at her empty driveway as they pull in. He sees concern in her face. "He's gone. I saw him pull out just after you left. That's when I came to get you," he says, smiling. She's moved by his kindness. "You didn't have to do that." She softly touches him. "Thank you." They go into the trailer, and the boy plays with Jesse. She holds the baby close. He's asleep. Would you like to see him? He's so precious when he sleeps. She unwraps the infant's head. Nervously, he pulls the blanket away to get a better view. He's beautiful. He remembers his own brother, and a sense of justice comes over him. He is just beautiful. Nothing is more precious than a sleeping baby. She gently kisses the infant. "I've got to thank you for being so kind." Alicia leans close and kisses him on the cheek. I wish there were more men like you in the world.